On Thursday, Eddie Cantor and Joan Davis find themselves coming into big money in the musical comedy If You Knew Susie. We shall make her acquaintance on Thursday at 2:15. And we're going to meet Simon Parkin for Children's BBC in a little less than 5 minutes here on BBC1. And that's after Rob Curling gives us the latest inside information behind the screen.
Hello. What do you think is the best-selling video of 1988? Well, let me give you a few ideas. Perhaps the latest James Bond movie, or Fawlty Towers, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, maybe, or E.T.? Well, in fact, it's none of those. Would you believe it's the BBC's Watch with Mother video? And word has reached the behind-the-screen office that another one is in the offing, so I decided to investigate.
If you go down in the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go down in the woods today, you better go in disguise. For every bear that ever there was will gather there for certain, because today's the day the teddy bears have their picnic.
This is Evelyn Hoare, the biggest teddy bear at the Toy and Model Museum in London. A place full of bears. By the way, if you ever want to come here, the nearest tube station is Paddington. Oh. And here with me now is someone who's used to working with one of the most famous bears ever, Teddy from Andy Pandy. Vera McKechnie, you were the voice behind Andy Pandy.
Yes, I was the storyteller. No, Andy Pandy doesn't actually have a voice as such. None of them do, Luby or Teddy, but I told the story. People tend to think that they speak, but they don't, in fact, you know.
No, they don't, thinking back. Were you always the storyteller from the black and white series right up to the more recent colour series?
No, Maria Bird was the storyteller on the black and white one, which has been on the video of Watch with Mother. But when they came to remake Andy Pandy in '69 for colour television, Maria wasn't feeling she really wanted to go through the awful strain, because it is pretty tiring post-sync dubbing onto a film. And so I'd worked for Frida Lindstrom, who was the brains behind all those Watch with Mothers. You know, she thought them all up and she directed them all. And she asked me would I do the storytelling for that, and of course I was delighted.
Who's actually watching these videos? Is it the grown-ups like us who remember it from when it went out originally, or is it modern-day children? Do you think they enjoy it as much as we did?
I think it's the grown-ups who are now in their 30s who are watching. My son is one of them, who are buying it perhaps for their children, and the grandmas, who were the mothers early on, are buying it for their grandchildren. But I gave my free copy to my grandchildren, and I thought, well, they're just going to be bored stiff with this. This was way back last October. But to my amazement, they like it, and I go to friends' houses where their children or grandchildren are playing it again and again. It's different, isn't it? It's gentle, it's, I don't know, maybe for us older people, a nostalgia for different times, different pace.
Do you not think children nowadays might find it rather primitive? I mean, children's programmes have changed a lot over the last 20, 30
I think
years.
it is a valid criticism. And they do think they're old-fashioned. They can see the strings and so on. But nevertheless, they do seem to be captured by them. The Wooden Tops is a great favourite with some small children I know. They're rather like their characters in their dolls' houses. Well, perhaps the voice then was, yes, maybe a bit patronising and talking down. It was Auntie Beebe in those days, wasn't it? But I don't know why, but children do seem to accept it okay.
Andy Pandy will probably live on then, it looks like.
We hope so, yes, yes, in colour.
Look at Luby Lou sitting so quietly in the blue truck at the end. If she could talk, I expect she'd say that she would like a ride. What about it, Andy? Jump on, that's right, as you're the engine driver. And children, you pretend to be engines too. Off we go.
Chuff, chuff, chuff goes the engine. Puff, puff, puff goes the train. Clang, clang, clang go the big and little wheels as they go round and round once again. Shh, shh, shh.
Oh, it seems like only yesterday that I was singing those songs. The Andy Pandy video with 4 colour episodes is released this week, priced £7.99, and it's well worth getting. Well, next week I'll be dropping in on Doctor Who's 25th birthday celebration, so excuse me, I must disappear. Bye.
In about 10 minutes on BBC2, after the national and regional news and weather, there's some quick thinking to be done in Catchword.
Oh, thank you. Dear Simon, I've got to work on top of the pops this afternoon, so can you sit in for me and look after the bananas? You've got 7 seconds to get to the broom cupboard, so get moving. Andy, 7 seconds. Hang on. Oh. Flipping out. Oh, God, I didn't even know I could run that fast. Well, do you know, it's typical of this Andy Crane type. Oh, hello, Bobby. You probably know Andy's not here, do you? Yeah. Yeah, Andy's not here this afternoon because he's doing Top of the Pops, so I'm here instead, but only just now. Then let me see. I hope he's left me instructions about what to do. Now on 1. Yep. Well, I think that. Yep. We'll take over. That's a good idea. Now on 2 can take over Children's BBC in the afternoons. That's a brilliant idea, isn't it? Where can I put this? Well,